Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind. My Deadlights.
Welcome to the Deadlights podcast, Minnie. I'm your host, Minnie Sam.
I am Minnie Leslie, bringing you your mini dose of little minis. You know it.
You know
want it.
You
want
love
it in
it.
a cup.
What? Pine
Nice
roll?
and, oh, there's still something in
Still
there.
something in there?
Yeah,
Alright.
my bad.
Get to that later. Well, we're back in the Minisode
We're back at
arena. We're back at it. You never left here, if you're like us.
it. No,
We never leave this room.
I literally stay in the seat forever.
Yeah. Since we started doing this October.
I'm glued on here.
Glued.
I just get scooched.
Yeah. We just move you around on that chair.
I go to work like this too.
Yeah, you're only allowed out for work, and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I just have to change pants.
That's
Because
it.
my pants are the ones that are glued to the chair.
We have to put more glue on there later.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
y'all.
so today, actually, we decided to, again, leave the movie realm,
Mm-hmm.
but go to another topic that's very closely tied to movies, and something that we both like,
I love.
which are video games.
games.
And specifically
Woo.
horror video games.
Yes.
Because there is this kind of nice crossover that we have with playing video games and horror and thriller games.
Mhm.
And I know there are a couple that I've played where I have literally been on the edge of my seat playing.
I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
I will throw that remote,
Mm-hmm.
which I have several times. Therefore, I only like seeing people play.
I see. You're much more of a watcher.
I am a watcher.
Yeah.
That's my partition. Somebody just literally playing.
Hey, can I come over
Play
so I can watch you play video games?
Yeah.
Sure, I
Well,
guess.
Also, the way that I got into this is that I started seeing my brother Josue playing video games. He was a lot older than I was, so I just quite enjoyed it. And playing Zelda. I loved Mortal Kombat, so I was able to play that a little bit easier. Just smashing pumpkins. Oh my
Smashing
God,
pumpkins. Hey,
smashing buttons.
See, she never leaves.
I
never
don't
leaves.
leave. But yeah.
And I think that is what's great about video games in general, which is similar to why I like horror movies, is it takes you to a place that you could never have gone otherwise, and you get to play in that space, and it's this another level of interactivity that you have with this media, this escapist kind of media, and you get to be Zelda, or you get to be Mario, or whatever, and I think that it's like this other level of immersion that is so enjoyable sometimes, and so fun. So personally, the video games that I really, really like are the games that are so open world that you could walk around for hours just picking up like items, and like that's part of the game. You can spend like hundreds of hours just walking around this open world.
You have little side missions, or like every action is going to send you to a different path, and you're like becoming this person of their like either a healer or a villain or whatever.
Yes, I love The Witcher fantasy. I love what's that other one called? The Lord of the Rings one. I don't know. Something Mordor. Shadow of Mordor. That's what it's called. It's called Shadow of Mordor, and Shadow of War is the second one. And it's a Lord of the Rings based video game, but it's very open world. Which I love Lord of the Rings, and so when that came out, when I played that, I was like, oh my God, I'm just like walking around Middle Earth. This is like everything that I dreamed of as a kid.
Really cool. I don't know if Adam knows about that game.
It is awesome. And it's one of those games too where every action that you, or every decision that you make in the game then does affect something down the line. So every play that you play through could be completely different. And there again are so many side missions and so many things that they keep adding on with these new like downloadable like packages and stuff, where the game
Cool.
gets bigger and bigger and
Yeah,
bigger. The
I
world
love
gets
that.
larger and larger and larger, and you can just walk around for hours.
Yeah.
It's great.
La la la.
Na, 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 na.
La la.
And now add on to this other element of making it in the horror genre. We're putting people in situations that we've seen in horror movies, you know?
So freaking scary.
Scary.
Because the graphics are getting better
Mhm.
and better, where it's going to get to the point where we're not going to know if that's real or not.
With VR. Think about that immersion. Like, surrounded.
Whoa.
You're actually in the haunted house now.
I have done a VR haunted house. Let me tell ya, that bitch is scary. It's scary.
Yeah.
And I did it with my friend Duto, shout out, him and I are chickens. He's a bigger chicken than I am, sorry,
When it comes to haunted houses.
to haunted houses.
Yeah.
I grab somebody's arm and I just bury myself, and I'm not gonna look up. I'm not gonna do it. Because I would scream forever and then lose my voice by the end of the haunted house. So yeah, him and I were doing this, and I had to guide us, and I was like, fuck. Like, it's not real, Leslie. It's not real. By the end of it, my back hurt because I was like this the whole time, and my hands were so sweaty. There were moments where we hit each other. There were moments that we were climbing on each other, but it was so much fun. I'll do it again.
Yeah, that sounds pretty amazing.
Yes, it was
well,
really
because
cool.
like with the horror genre, over the years they've become and evolved into getting so much better at scaring us.
Mhm.
These video game developers are doing the same thing. You know, they're making video games better and better and more immersive, and also figuring out how to scare us more and more when we're being immersed in this world. So I feel like they're only going to get scarier and keep getting scarier.
I love my genre in horror in general is psychological.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to video games, I tend to go for the ones that are so fucked up. And it's like involving not just like a lot of jump scares, but just like what the fuck is going on, because then your character is like losing its shit, and then things just keep changing. One of them is called, and I go on YouTube and I just like look up RPG like horror. I just want somebody to guide me through a video game, and sometimes they themselves are like, I need to take a break. And one of them was Dear Martha. Oh my gosh.
Scary.
It's fucked up.
So what's the story of the video game?
So the story is that you are one of the twins, and you're in Spain while it's being taken over. So I think it was in the 50s. Ooh, sorry. I don't know when their war was.
Like Spanish Civil War?
Yes.
Like early 1900s?
Yeah, early 1900s.
Yeah.
And you're this girl whose family just relocated. Your dad is a general, and your sister dies.
Very Pan's Labyrinth kind of setup.
Very much so.
Interesting.
And you lose your sister because there was like this story going, like, that was passed down, that this lady haunted a lake, and you find your sister in the lake dead. But then you become Martha, and Martha is well liked by the mom. So you are pretending to be Martha.
Interesting.
And you just are having to go through this, and your psychological, your mental health just declines.
Wow.
And yeah, it's incredible.
So the game is you as Martha, and then what are you trying to do? Are you trying to like unravel the mystery of the lady in the lake, kind of, or
a little bit?
Okay.
But also you find out that the reason why Martha died was because she was trying to protect you, and now you took on her identity by accident. But you're loving the affection that your mom is giving you, but then the mom is also like suspicious of you, and then the mom at one point is trying to send you to a mental institution, which our character should have gone to.
So does the scariness come, like, when you're playing it, what is it that keeps you, like, scared of it?
There's a moment where our character goes and talking to her dead sister in an open casket. And the casket is in the middle of the living room, and you go over, and then it just like, because your mental health is declining, you just go into the scene of her sister being eaten by maggots, and just like, it was so bad that there were some scenes that are, the person playing it was like, I think this is too graphic for us to show on YouTube, and he had to blur it out.
Wow.
And there was another moment where, I'm going to spoil it a little bit, but you discover that she had gotten pregnant by the guy that your character likes. And then you have to dig her up. No, you don't dig her up. She's in a room, which you discover is run by Nazis. That your dad is probably a Nazi.
Yeah.
And and then you go over and you open her up.
Oh.
And you get the fetus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was gnarly. And that's the scene that you get blurred, but all you see is red, and you're just like,
oh my God.
You're just like imagining things.
Yeah. My God. It's some gruesome shit for a video game. Well, and that's interesting too, because like, when I feel like when a lot of people, the common person thinks of video games, they don't think of in a story that extensive or that deep or that fucked up that a video game can have. They think of like Mario, you know, or like whatever, like a very basic fantasy kind of story. But that's like,
it's gruesome
and like some real, like, I mean, we're dealing with history, like Nazis and like loss of a sibling, you know, these are like deep emotions that people have to deal with, and it's in a video game, and you're playing as a character who's dealing with these things.
You kill your mother.
Oy, oy.
And you chop her up.
Oh, no.
And you dig her up.
Oh.
In a hole. You dig a hole.
Yeah.
And you leave her there.
Making a murder.
Yeah.
The video game.
And then it like kind of ends with you not knowing what happens to you, but you're just going down this this path, and it's completely a void, just white. And our character loves playing and interprets, like, I think going through her like emotions with puppets. And that's how she is able to kind of guide us, but also guide herself through moments. So she's recreating moments, and that's how we're told what actually happened between the mom and the daughter, and all these things. And so you're in this void, seeming dead, and you're encountering just your puppet, essentially. And you're just like, the more you're guided through, it's like broken pieces of the house because it seems like it got blown up. And then pieces of the like puppets broken as well. And then you come to a mirror and a chair, and you're talking to yourself, but you're also kind of talking to your sister. And then it turns out that you self-harm, and probably is how you passed away. Because before that scene, it gives you a disclaimer. The game itself gives you a disclaimer if you have my bad, sorry, if you have, it's like a trigger warning, and it's like you shouldn't proceed if you have any
suicidal thoughts.
Yeah. And then towards the end, after the game ends, it gives you like a number, if you are thinking about self-harming, or if you are,
Mm-hmm.
or if you know somebody, like reach out here and get some help.
Yeah.
So yeah.
See, I mean, I like that because that we're taking a video game beyond just playing a game. You know, we're trying to say something. We're trying to make the player feel like literally put them in someone who's going through that shoes, and you're playing as that character. And so you're using this form of art to then comment on and bring awareness to something, which is, I think, great.
I think it's really great because not only are you making a video game about a girl who is self-harming, and you're just like not exploiting that in itself, because a lot of the times, I mean, there are more men who are creating video games, so it is not a story that's yours, you know, too. So I do appreciate that they have given a moment, some breath into this heavy topic.
Yeah.
But it was well done, and the story was well written. It was incredible because there's a moment where you choose if you want to dress as your sister or yourself.
Interesting.
Every day you wake up, you choose who you want to be. So it's
Wow.
like...
Yes. And that obviously changes what the outcome is of the video game.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Who knows?
Maybe not.
All I know is this person playing this video game.
Damn. Really cool.
Yeah.
Dear Martha?
Dear Martha.
Dear Martha. Wow. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the scariest video games that I've ever played for sure has got to be BioShock.
BioShock. I did. I used to read a lot of G4 kind of.
Yep.
Like,
it was definitely, I feel like, one of the bigger advertised horror video game, or at least one of the first ones. Obviously Resident Evil was out there.
Yeah.
Silent Hill was out there.
Yes.
And then BioShock kind of came out and was this another kind of staple, I feel like, in horror scary games. And I mean, the reason that it's scary is pretty simple. They use a lot of darkness, a lot of dark corners, a lot of people coming from places that you're not expecting, a lot of sound design that they do, that they use really, really well to build tension and to do the jump scares. So it was one of those games where I would be sitting there playing it and hunched over on the edge of my seat. You're just like looking at the screen because you just don't know. You're walking so slow through this world. And the story of the video game is that you are on a plane. It's, I believe, in the 1930s or 40s. You're on a plane going over the Atlantic Ocean, and your plane crashes in the middle of the ocean. And so at the beginning of the game, you're just kind of swimming in the middle of the ocean. And to me, that's already horrifying.
No.
Because what's under there? Don't know. Just lots and lots of
water. The Kraken, that's what's down there.
Yeah, at least. And just more than that.
That's what terrifies me. An empty, open, you don't know. You don't know the distance of anything.
And you're swimming around, and finally you find this little lighthouse island. And you go into the lighthouse, and there's an elevator that goes down. So then you are now transported down into this underwater world that someone built to be underwater. And it kind of builds up as like, this was supposed to be the new utopia, the new world where people can escape, kind of an Atlantis fantasy kind of thing. But something went wrong. And the chemicals or something that they were using started infecting people, and people started to get zombie-like. And it's not the slow zombies. It's these very fast, very crawly, they can crawl on walls, jump really fast zombies.
It like reminds me of Last of Us as well.
Yes.
Is there levels to the zombies?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
There's got to be ones that they have different powers too, and because they're using these chemicals to experiment on like genes, and like they could change your DNA to make you have like different abilities. So they're experimenting with.
Are they more aquatic?
Some of them, because you some of them have different types of powers. So like can inject yourself with a serum that gives you firepower, or inject yourself with a serum that gives you electricity power, and this is all like coming out of your hands.
What the hell?
Or like poison power, so you can like throw poison things out of your hands. And so they started experimenting with these like different chemicals, and it changed people to be like super aggressive and super scary. So now this like underground utopia that was once like a beautiful place is like broken down, really dark, really like almost like grown over.
Mm-hmm.
Like things are cracking and feel like it's been abandoned, but some people are still hanging around.
Yeah.
And you're pretty much, it's a mystery of like unraveling of like who's the person that invented this and where do they come from, and you're also trying to just figure out how to get out of it.
How to get out.
Because you just landed in this place. You really, this story kind of unravels at your feet, but the ultimate goal is to just get out of there.
Or over your head.
Or over your head.
And what a cool character to have dressed in a very old submarine costume.
Mm-hmm.
And just like walking up.
Yes. Yes. And that's the whole thing. Like one of the main big bosses are these like big submarine guys that have these big massive drills.
Hell no.
Hell no. I know. And so you hear, like, that's another thing. You hear the drills in the distance.
Ah!
And that's what they use sound so well. It's like super quiet at moments and then super loud.
Yeah.
When one of those drills comes around the corner.
How cool. That's another reason why I just like really enjoyed seeing Adam play The Last of Us. Because there's no way I kick and I punch and I would have done that whenever I get stressed. So
oh my god. So many moments of just high tension.
And there would be times where I would try to push Adam to continue on. Because I'm not playing. But he's like, I'm tired. I've been holding tension.
Yeah.
I need a break. And I'm just like, I don't know what happens.
I want to see it.
I want to see it.
You're just along for the ride.
I'm there.
You're just along for the ride. Yeah. And another thing about BioShock that I enjoyed but also was frustrated about was they give you very little resources. Like you just crashed off a plane, so everything that you use you have to find.
You're finding and you're
collecting items, you're learning how to use these serums and stuff, but you through the whole game don't have many resources at all. So you have to be very strategic with how you fight people. If you want to just try to go in and kill someone or sneak around them, you have to use your resources lightly, and that makes it scarier. Because you're like, what if I get into a situation where I don't have enough resources, and then what? I die,
Yeah. What's the post-apocalyptic game in which you are coming out of a bunker?
Fallout.
Yes. Oh my god.
Very similar to that.
Yeah. I love.
Yeah.
I love that kind of concept of you having to build your weapons, essentially you just like grabbing the knowledge from around you, and I don't know, like that just makes the video game so much more interesting.
It's very much like a trial and error kind of thing. You learn as you go. You're really bad at first because you have no idea what the rules of this world are, but as your character learns things and as you gather the items and start to combine things and learn how to kill people and defeat people in different ways, you get better at it.
Yeah.
And I agree. That's why I love those type of open world kind of games where it takes you a second to figure out how to play the game. And you can become better at playing the game the more you play it.
I've sat down and I've watched someone play a video game for 8 hours. And I'm not even playing. I'm right next to them just watching and enjoying, because it's a story of its own as well, just like a movie would be. And then, like I said, like I just enjoy and I appreciate people that work on video games, because it's a very cool and tough, like it's just as demanding as a movie is.
Yeah.
You are like there a lot of hours and trying to like create this world and
I think that's part of it too. Is like they don't get enough respect for having those like very intense stories and that attention to detail to not only, I mean, the computer generated things are one thing. That's a technical thing that is very impressive, and the design and making it more and more realistic, that's one level of impressiveness. To have this other level of like, okay, you're actually like weaving in a story too that is like a cathartic experience for not only the character in the video game, but also for the person who's playing it. Like, that's a whole nother level of thing that I don't think video games get enough respect for.
No. And the voice actors.
Them too.
I know several of them. Not personally, I wish. But, like, Laura Bailey, she's done the Resident Evil games. Ashley, she's done The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Matt Mercer, he's also, like, a really good, like, monster kind of, like, character and can make all... He did, like, the clicks in The Last of Us 2, just like all those like kind of characters, super cool.
And that shit,
and Travis, like it's all the people that are in Critical Role.
And you don't think about that, or I don't think most people think about that.
No,
but they should.
They
absolutely
should.
because
You should be nerds, everybody.
Everyone just be nerd and just
Appreciate.
get informed and these different cool kinds of art.
It's so cool.
They all have their own place. Yeah. Video games, man.
Video games.
Love them.
Love them so much.
Let's play some more.
Let's play more.
Let's play more.
Oh.
All right, cool. Well,
all right, well.
Let's get out of here and go play some video games. Huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home, eat, and
force Adam to
convince Adam to download a video game.
Hell yeah.
Well, you can find me on Instagram at ColorMeLeslie.
And me at BPPritchyT. And also the Deadlights Pod. That's us. Also check out Playground Social, which is the studio that we are recording this at.
Yes.
But until next time.
Let's get me spooky.
Let's do it.
I don't know why that...